Oh God.
James.
Oh. No, see, right, I did. You do the talking.
In the beginning.
God created the heaven and the earth. So, Tattoo Molly was kind of the love child of an old band that me and the singer Sam were in,
Right.
Full Shotgun Susie, many, many years ago. I worked with Dan at the time, and me and Adam, a band called Slack Alice and Colonel Custard, another lifetime ago.
Yeah.
And we kind of all found our own way. And this is the first band that Dan's ever been in.
Yeah,
Dan's never played bass before.
I'm a virgin to this whole process.
And you were a guitarist, weren't you, before? You like,
but not like in a band setting, just for pleasure at home.
Yeah. So that's kind of how Tattoo Molly was founded in 2021, so 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the rest is all history.
As they say.
Yeah.
We'll roll with this as the interview anyway. So you've done a nice introduction to yourself. Hello, Tattoo Molly. Hello, guys.
Oh.
He's taking a drink there. Is that vodka in that bowl?
Yeah, I wish. School night.
You sent me a song the other day, which is your new single. Please just tell me about it.
Adam can do all the talking on that one.
Not really.
Yes. Nail in the Coffin. We did an album last year called Power. It was our debut album.
Right.
We sold all of about 15 copies of it, worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
Really well.
Fathers, grandmas, and pets.
That's it, yeah. All the
smash hit.
Family and friends. I've got 14 of the 15 copies.
Right, okay.
It was supposed to be on there, and it was, but it was the live version. And we kind of, because all of the recording done within the band, for the band is done within the band. We all record our own stuff and mix, master, and put it all out there. Yeah. We kind of didn't have the time. We were running out of time to put it on there. So we grabbed a live version from a gig we did at a venue called Square One.
Yeah.
Mastered it, made it sound as good as we could. Maybe a few overdubs in there if you want to know the secrets. And put it on there. We decided that it was such a good song that it needed to be recorded and have the attention paid to it that it deserved. Hence why a year later we're here releasing it.
We returned back into this very room actually and recorded it again.
Yeah.
Did you alter it at all?
Yeah.
A couple of bits here and there. I mean, there's a what's it called? False stop.
There's a false stop in
there. There's a couple of more wiggly little guitar parts here and there, but it's but the backbone of it's more or less the same. Much,
more balls though.
Yeah,
definitely more balls.
More polish.
Yeah,
more
polished balls.
Elisha's got down.
Okay,
back.
So just tell me about yourselves. I mean, where you're from. I know you sort of like created yourselves out of a million different bands and all that. So where you're from, where you're touring, where you're gigging, and what have you done so far? You got an album out, so come on. There must be
us three at least. Us three at least anyway are local homegrown boys for the most part. Born and bred right here in Coventry.
Yeah.
Sam did live in Coventry here at one point, but he's, as mentioned earlier, in Wigan, but he's originally from South Africa.
Yeah.
Right. So we've got everything's kind of come from far places.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Four corners of the world.
Yeah.
And the West Midlands.
Yeah. the West Midlands and South Africa finally met together in harmony.
Yeah. So yeah, Sam was born in Manchester, moved to South Africa. From South Africa when he was 18, moved to Coventry, got with his wife, had children, met me, unfortunately, joined a band, then popped off back to Wigan again, and then that's when Tattoo Molly happened. So he's kind of done like full circle. With regards to gigging and stuff like that, this year has been particularly busy, more busy than last year.
Yeah.
Not as busy as most other bands, and not as busy as we probably would like to be, but we've all got work commitments and family. And like we said, with Sam living 200 miles up the road from the rest of us, it makes it a little bit more difficult. But we've done like millions more gigs this year, like I said, than previous. This year in particular, we're trying to pick our gigs very carefully this year. and not play just because of playing, but we want to play because they're decent gigs, decent venues, and we want to make sure that we're playing to the right crowds and not to, a Pink tribute band at the Crew in the Nuneaton, as opposed to a decent gig like KK Steel Mill or something like that, the Empire in Coventry, for example.
Yeah, quality over quantity, because I mean, if quantity was possible, we probably would be doing it, but because it's not, we're aiming for quality, exactly. Yeah. The ones that hit hardest. So yeah.
Okay. So what have you got coming up?
Oh God, that's a question. We did have more singles coming up, but somebody lost all the recordings, so we're going to have to re-record those. The joys of doing it yourself. So the next one, yeah, it's like that. Yeah, I dropped an external hard on the floor that had all of the files on it, and we lost it about 2 weeks ago. So we're going to have to re-record. And these things happen for a reason. These things happen for a reason.
You had to discover what that reason is.
Yes.
We'll make it start.
Was there some discussion amongst the band members how long you'd last then, within the band after that?
Well, after I dropped it, it's funny that, because that was literally the day before. Well, it was the day before we all met to get to shoot the music video for Nail in the Coffin.
Right.
And I'd also lost Nail in the Coffin as well. So he was particularly pissed off.
Well, oddly enough, it was Friday the 13th. So
Friday the 13th.
It hit us hard.
Yeah.
As it turns out.
So we all jumped in the van on the Saturday.
Yeah.
All dressed like vampires with coffins in the back of the van, people coming to help us out, ready to go on to location. And I said, "Oh, by the way, lads," I said, I dropped my external hard drive yesterday. I didn't back anything up, and I think I've lost Nail in the Coffin and the other songs. And there was this real guttural sigh within the van, but I managed to pull it out of the house. We have lost the other songs, the newer songs that we were going to be releasing after this. But Nail in the Coffin's all right. Nobody got broken noses. Nobody got black eyes. Everyone's safe, and the band is still together, but still carrying on.
Oh dear. Okay, so obviously then you're not resting on the laurels of last year's album. You're moving steadily forward with Nail in the Coffin obviously coming out in time for Halloween. But you've got more in the pipeline as well. So
definitely. I think the album last year, I think I'm speaking for myself and maybe for the others when I say I think the album was a very selfish thing. It was because we wanted to do it. We were under no illusion. We had this massive fan base that we were going to sell loads of them. We just wanted copies ourselves. People did buy the copies and they were happy with it. But we live in a generation and in a world now where it's a what next thing. People want to see what's happening next, and that's why so many bands put out things like singles and music videos as opposed to albums, because it's the internet so fast and quick. You put something out, people forget within 24 hours. They want to know and move on to the next thing. So definitely more.
How to describe it, the sort of social media generation. I think there's always a drive and a need to not always be relevant, but to always have something pumping.
Yeah, content,
content, exactly.
Always.
Like basically, if you're away for any stretch of time, you're basically metaphorically dead. Basically, there's always a need to kind of, as soon as you've done one thing, okay, what's next, and then move on to that.
Which, in all fairness, it kind of works in our favour, because yes, we put out an album, we printed off 100 copies of it, and I think we've got about 30 left. But it works in our favour in respect that we can re-release those songs whenever we want, because nobody knows what they fucking sound like. Nobody's got the album. You listen to it a million times on Spotify. Nobody's really listened to it anyway.
To be fair, though, we do have a steady stream of people on Spotify coming back. So
yeah, definitely. But
so thank you, whoever you are.
Yeah.
There are 2 people. Thank you.
But when you go to a venue like Cakers, we never played Cakers. I'm using that as an example. Big room, 400 people in there. Yeah. There's probably 2 people in there that have listened to our album. The other 398 are into that type of music but never heard of us. So yeah, it does. We can re-release those songs if we need to. They've always got them in the back
pocket. But yeah, so essentially what you're saying, you're a live band, but going forward, are you going to drip feed the singles now rather than do
Yeah.
an album?
Yeah,
I think that's the current plan. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me more about Nail in the Coffin then. I mean, obviously you've released it in time for Halloween, so just tell me the premise of the song.
Well, that would be down to our singer, I think.
Yeah.
That song was played. How long have me and Sam been?
11 years.
11 years ago, that song was written. I wrote the riffs to that song 11 years ago, maybe
Right.
longer than that. Me and Sam got together 11 years ago. That's when the song was born. I don't know why I did a mystical hand there, like a mystical hand.
You might. Never know, you might so.
It was, yeah, so yeah, 11 years ago, and it sounds much better now with these two, and 11 years past, and your talent getting better and honing in on your craft. It does sound better. I think, fuck you. I think with it being released after the live version on the album, I think that was a clever move
Okay.
on our part, an intentional clever move, because it kind of get people, well, here's a little bit of what it could sound like, and here's a little bit of a raw element to Nail in the Coffin, and now here's the polished version. So I think unintentionally that worked in our favour. But Nail in the Coffin, it's just a raw rock and roll song. With the music video as well, the song has nothing to do with vampires or the afterlife or any monsters.
There's no supernatural element.
Nothing to it at all. We just thought it'd be a good idea.
We just basically just like it's some conversation somewhere. We kind of thought just the name Nail in the Coffin. That sounds like kind of
Vampire.
something like from the Hammer horror-esque era. So
Yeah.
it kind of just spiraled out of control from there.
So yeah, it's kind of just a good old-fashioned rip-roaring rock and roll song. None of this subgenre stuff. It's just good, crunchy, riffy song, belting vocals, amazing rhythm section, and the music video that goes with it as well is, I know it's very biased, but it's shit hot. It's something that like I said, everything we do within this band, we do ourselves. We do all the video stuff, we do all the editing, and it was fun. And I think that's an element to music that I think a lot of bands have forgotten about, because they're trying to get up that ladder and be the never-ending professional band that they aspire to be. The massive wagons and above. That's where bands want to get to. And they kind of figured that it was meant to be fun. It was fun to begin with. It should continue to be fun. And the music video, all of us die in our own way. We're all dressed like vampires, spikes and guns and blood and everything. It's fantastic. It's exactly what you want in a music video.
Excellent. I mean, you made an interesting point now. I mean, you see people like Iron Maiden selling out Wembley Stadium or wherever it is they're playing next year. Is it fun for those guys these days? Or is it a job? Is it just a job?
A bit of column A and a bit of column B, I would think, in that case. I mean, it's definitely a job, but I would kind of imagine that they're still at least having a bit of fun doing it. Otherwise,
Depends on the band.
yeah, I mean,
I reckon Maiden are having fun. I'm not so sure Metallica are having fun. It depends on who's in the band.
yeah, I mean, I think Metallica at this point they're just too far gone.
Yeah,
They've got no choice but to keep rolling with it at this point. But
I don't know. I think bands like Maiden, bands like Kiss, because I'm a huge Kiss fan. I'm going to use Kiss as an example. I think the theatrical bands have fun, because it is there is more of an element of performance to it than just standing there with a guitar, headbanging and going James Hetfield. But I don't think it matters so much when you're rocking in £1 million a show. I think is it work? Really? It's not really work. You enjoy it. You've got to enjoy it to a certain extent. Whether that shows in your performance or not, it's a different thing. But when you're getting £1 million, £2 million a show, Oasis, they're not fucking enjoying it. They never look like they were enjoying it, and they're charging £4 million.
I'm not sure shit. I'm not enjoying it either.
Nobody else was enjoying it. But it's the biggest farce to happen in the century. Yeah, well, maybe they are.
think it's just kind of, I think at that level in particular, I mean, the job part would definitely come in the form of, I mean, if it was just like those 4 or 5 people on stage, like, doing it like we are at this level, just coming in, hooking everything up themselves and then just playing, it probably would still have that huge fun element. But at that level, it's just, they've got entire crews with like people that they're employing essentially. It has to be run like a business.
Yeah, I think
at
you
that
make a
point.
good
So,
point. I think,
so at that point, I think that's where the kind of this feels like a job element comes in.
yeah, I mean, you take our last gig, for example, we played at a place called the Crafty 2 in Tamworth. And it was for a friend's birthday. It was in the back garden in some like outhouse shed thing. And we had to hire a PA system to go down there, set it all up ourselves, put our own backdrops up, set up all of our instruments, all of the amps, hope that people were going to turn up. And then when you step back at it and you look at it, and you go, "Oh, we did that. We set all that up. That looks really smart. You've got confetti cannons and spark machines that we all have." And you go, "That looks fucking ace, that does." There's an element of pride that goes into it. When you pay people